guest. Let's see. Okay, but in the meantime, you're going to have me. You'll be able to communicate with me. Welcome to Self-FULLness MATters. I am Coach Robin Renee, proprietress of Alpha to Omega Holistic Therapeutic Services, a wellness lifestyle brand with a mission to educate on natural care for mind, body, and soul, encourage mindful movement, and empower you to be well. Today, we are discussing self care. And it is Self Care September, so we got to represent for Self Care September. When we think about self care, we a lot of times we think about like going to spas or getting massages or doing something extravagant or something fancy when it really doesn't have to be like that. Like your self-care is could be as simple as what you do on a daily basis. And it could be as simple as I drank 12 more ounces of water today than I did yesterday. That's self-care. I slept 10 more minutes today than I did yesterday. That's self-care. It is how you are tending to yourself. So on this particular podcast or channel, if you will, we take self-care out of the box to discuss the many ways to wellness. We want you to leave with useful strategies for taking time to take care of you. So today we want to talk about rest in particular when it comes to self-care. Even though there are many ways to wellness through self-care, rest is what we want to talk about. Rest is that thing that we are so deprived of, especially in America. So I'm not sure where other people are chiming in from. Wherever you're chiming in from, just let us know in the chat where you're chiming in from and let us know if sleep deprivation or if rest deprivation is an issue for you. But I know for us here in the US, it really is. It's an issue. And we are actually trained as a culture, trained as a society to hustle, 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 hustle. But if you are constantly hustling, when are you resting? And there's this whole, I don't know if you want to call it a movement, but just a general idea or a genre of hustlers who feel like, oh, I can rest when I die. And a lot of us have been there. Hallelujah, hallelujah. That's really not a good way to think about it. Like you can rest when you die. But no, actually, contrary to popular belief, you can actually rest before you die. You can rest so that you can prolong, just from natural causes, you can prolong dying because your body will be able to rest. Your body is a machine. And with all machines, they need maintenance. They don't just pop up and they just work and they stay working forever. There are things. Hello, Mr. Wilson Michael. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you too. But your body, if you think about your body as a machine, that machine needs maintenance. The machine needs care. There are different parts to that machine. And all of those parts at some point actually need to rest. Even like if you're driving your car, who drives the car 24/7? How can I reply you? It's your first time here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, if you're thinking about a car, so let's just think about a car. You won't drive your car 24/7, 365 days in a year because that car needs to rest, that car needs to refuel. So look at your body the same way. And so we want to talk about you're watching from India. Hey, hey, how's it going in India? Well, let us know in India, is there a hustle culture there? I'm gonna keep my glasses on because I gotta keep picking them up, putting them down. But in India, is there a hustle culture there where you always have to be on, you always have to be working, you always have to be doing something. Because we're talking about resting today and how we can pull back from that hustle culture. It's hard to do because it's ingrained in us from basically from the cradle to the grave. Like we have so many things that we have to get done in the course of a day, in the course of a week, in the course of a month, and especially if you are working, whether it is working for yourself or working for someone else or working for your family. So I don't mean just going outside of the house. Taking care of a family is work. In fact, it's a whole lot of work. So we want to learn how to pull back. How do we pull back from that? How do we tap out of that hard life, that hustle life that go for it all, go hard or go home life, and tap into a softer life. And I'm using air quotes when I say softer. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It means that, yeah, I'm just not trying to be hustling like that. I'm not trying to hustle like that. But this is what we're talking about now. This is Haroon Khan. We're talking about resting. That's some advice. The advice is find a way, find a way that you can take, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 5 minutes. Power naps are really underestimated. You can take a 15-minute or 20-minute power nap and clear your head, to get your mind right, just to reset in the middle of the day. And that is self care. That is using rest as self care. Not everyone needs an entire 8 hours a night to sleep. You're in your early 20s. Should you be working hard and struggling now than later? Okay, so what's happening with that? That's a part of the hustle culture, but I understand what you're saying. The younger you are, you do have more energy to do more. So it's a matter of pacing yourself, but then blocking in your rest in that space, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I don't want to use the word hustle because we're just trying to get away from that mentality, but working a little bit more when you're younger, when you have more energy, it makes more sense than to try to do it later. So, it, it makes more sense to work harder now so that you don't have to work so hard later, because sometimes we get caught up later and it's not that it's too late, it's just really hard when you get later, when you get older, to hustle the way that you could have done in your 20s. Now in our 20s, are we really thinking about being 50? Because that's like, oh, a 20-year-old may say, oh, that's so old. But, us that's in our 50s, moving towards our 60s, it's not old. It's not old, but it does put a restriction on the amount of time that we have left in order for us to be able to continue working, full time, or overtime or extra time, adding in, more jobs for us to be able to live this. Well, once again, we're here in America. So we have this whole American dream, which I basically identified as the American nightmare. But hang tight, you all. This is our guest. I want to make sure that she knows where we are. So we are on YouTube, but I call it the American nightmare. Yeah, it's packaged as a dream because if you do certain things a certain way, then you get this American dream. But rest is not put in that formula a lot, right? Rest is not. They ruin Merc. Listen, America be off the chain over here. I mean, really. And the older I get, the more I think about the dream that we have been sold, and the price is so high on that dream. But it's been ingrained in us for so long that we want to get to those levels. And you got, what is it, the whole that top 2% owning 98%, of the wealth, in the country. Like that is just so, when you look at that balance is just so off. Where does your rest fit in with that? Like, how do you say, you know what? I'm going to step back. So on jobs, you do, if you're working outside, if you're working outside the home or you're working with someone else, so they do have breaks. So they, may have like the 15-minute breaks, mid-morning, mid-afternoon break, your lunch break. You get those breaks, but when you look at it in the bigger scheme of things, is it really enough time for you to be able to say, I actually was able to regenerate? Because sometimes we're going to work through our lunch because we got some project, we got some deadline that we have to meet, and it just doesn't work out that way. So this is back to Haroon. Back to your point about being in your 20s, that is actually the time to think about how do I plan my rest in this so that I'm not burned out. You have people who have been on some jobs 30 years, 40 years, and they hate it. They hate their jobs because it has taken such a toll on them. But then you get stuck in this space, especially if it's one of them good government jobs, right? You get stuck in this space of, man, I've been here for so long. Hey, what's up, Sunshine? What's up, Sunshine? Please chime in, help us out. Yeah, because you have one of those jobs. We appreciate you so much for being a teacher, for taking on our children, especially our challenged children. I love you dearly, dearly, dearly. Not just for that. I love you just for being you, but yeah, definitely with our children. But in terms of understanding how we can put breaks into these workloads. So here's the joke, right? What's the reward for hard work? It's more work, because when you have people who have tapped in to seeing how well you work, they want to give you some more work to do. And you like, wait, pump your brakes, Johnny. That ain't what I'm here for. That's not, yes, I'm good at it, but if I have a whole team or if there's a whole department, delegate that. It doesn't matter that I'm good at it. I'm good at it. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm good at it because I'm choosing to be good at it because that's the way I want to do my job. But that doesn't mean that you can get a slacker and let the slacker slack and then I have to pick that up because we're on the same team. No, we ain't on the same team like that. He said, Lord, don't you know? Yes, compassion fatigue. Yes, it's a beast. Coupled with everyday stress. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, it's just so much, compounding on that. So we're talking about where does rest fit in your self care? And some people don't even equate rest with self care. We are in a culture, we are in a society that identifies or that may name resting as laziness. Like, no, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. So along with your actual jobs you have to do, and then taking care of your family, and then with society, with all of those pressures, and then we have the whole social media. And I'm not saying social media is bad, because it's not, but there are so many different messages that come at us on social media, and especially if you get caught up in some of the rabbit holes. Yes, amen. I done got caught up in some of the TikTok rabbit holes where I'm looking at a particular subject, and you look up, and then that girl is on there saying, "Are you scrolling again?" Right? She's called me about a good 3, 4 times. But when we get to that space, our brain is not resting. We should not be processing stuff live download. That's what I mean. Because in your sleep, you are processing things, but you're processing in a more restful state. But that live media, that live interaction, that live stimulation to your brain should not be going on 20 hours a day. Sometimes we are on for 20 hours a day because we have our phones, we have our tablets, we have our TVs, we have do people still carry radios? I don't know. But anyway, but the radio in your car. Well, see, now you got the Sirius XM radio, and those are on, and then you got the midnight what's the name of the y'all know what I'm talking about, the midnight grooves, that on the radio station, where stuff just doesn't go off. There was a time when TV would actually shut down, and you knew when you saw that flag coming across there, or that little line, or those bars that came across, those different colored bars, you knew that it was actually time to shut it down, that signal to your brain. And even if it didn't signal to your brain, you ain't had nothing else to watch, so you had to shut that down. But now we don't even equate rest as a part of something that's necessary for us. Now, what's happening with your body when it comes to rest? I'll say this, or deprivation. So I am learning to just feel out and stop and take a pause. Yep, no TV, maybe some music, and I still have to try to shut down your brain. Yes, you have to shut down your brain. Now, let me just say this to you, Chris. I've been listening to Andre 3000 and New Blue Sun. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's his flute album that a lot of the hip hop community is not necessarily, gravitating to, but I'm in that space, that whole meditative. I loved it. I mean, I got Andre on the brain. So if you have not heard it or you have not tried it, totally try that. So I started doing this. It's from yoga, and all my yoga people, why y'all ain't tell me this? But the on rotation, yes, honey, Andre got it. He got my vote. I hope he gets a Grammy, for that. But my yoga people, y'all didn't tell me about the legs up the wall. I like it. I like it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, you can Google yoga legs up the wall. It's you actually redirecting, not redirecting your blood, but helping your blood to come back towards your heart. Because we stand up so much that blood is constantly going away. And of course, your heart is pumping harder to get, the blood to come back up, the venous blood to come back up. And if you have the legs up the wall, it takes some of that heaviness off of your legs, and it allows your blood to be able to flow without you doing a whole lot. Your legs are just up on the wall. So I do that. I set my timer for 20 minutes with Andre, me and Andre, so I'll just have them, I have them resting there, and it has made such a difference. So that's a useful strategy. At least it's a useful strategy for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but hey, I mean, that's my gift to you. You want to look at those sorts of things that could be sustainable for you. So, say for instance, if going to a spa relaxes you so much, that's good. But is that really sustainable for you to be able to do that enough for it to benefit you on a long-term basis? So it could start off as a once a month thing, which is fine. If finances come in and be like, yeah, we're not doing that this month. We're not doing it. What's your alternative? So I'm not saying don't do it. Go ahead and do it. Try different things. Try things that will take you out of your element, meaning that hustle element, meaning the America, the America hustle element. Find those things that take you out of the element and allow you to shut down. Sitting still is doing something. It's not boring and it's not doing nothing. You're sitting still. So that's actually doing something. For some of us who are going through the change, who are going through the change, insomnia starts to tap in. And instead of us lying down to take advantage of those moments to rest, we get up and start doing something or we turn something on. Yes, it's harder to fall asleep, but you want to start to decrease those cortisol levels. You want to decrease, the adrenaline levels. You don't want to keep your body in the fight, flight, freeze, mode constantly, constantly, constantly. Now with cortisol, like them freaks that come out at night. I'm just saying that cortisol get real busy in the nighttime. So if you're up when you should be resting, then cortisol is like, okay, so you want to be up. So you want to be up. But how about I just sit right here? But how about I just sit right here, right? So that's when we start getting that in the words of Timeless Mum and Jazzy Crockett, you start to get that bad built butch body. Yeah. When you start to get that square, I used to call it the SpongeBob SquarePants, shape. Yeah, want SpongeBob to come back and pick up his SquarePants, but yeah, we talk that built body, that bad built body. That's what begins to happen. So when you think about I'm eating right, right? Or I'm eating well, I'm exercising, I'm moving. We don't take into account that when we don't rest, our body continues to work. Cortisol got to have somewhere to go, right? Cortisol ain't interested in going up here and going down there. It may get somewhere, but cortisol loves to be around that midsection. So when you think about that, go to sleep, right? Like, you know what? My waistline gonna spread if I don't take a nap. Take that with learning how to say no. That's another thing. We lose rest because we're saying yes to so many things. Learn how to say no. If you learn how to say no, you can maintain your waistline. You won't get the bad built butch body. I'm just saying. So if you have difficulty saying no, you create a toolbox of self care strategies. Yes, 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 yes. Create that too, and you want to create a toolbox of things that aren't necessarily tangible that you can't pull out. And so our guest Tanika, this is one of her things when she talks about internal cues and external cues. Yeah. So that would be one of those internal cues. Those would be one of those things, those strategies that you have already with you. It's like it's built into you already to have that toolbox. That's good because sometimes you won't be able to get to those external resources in order to get into that state of rest. So yeah. So take that. That's another useful strategy. When you want to say no, you be like, you know what? I don't want no bad bill butch body. So I don't need my cortisol coming out like the freaks that night getting all around my waist because that ain't cute. That ain't cute. And then to try to put a belt around it, that ain't comfortable. That's just, yeah, just no. Just no, just no. So that's another useful strategy on how you want to say no. Like I need to get some rest because I'm not trying to play with cortisol like that. The other thing that could happen is your heart. A lot of heart conditions come from lack of rest. When your heart is not able to rest, it continues to pump. It continues to do its job because you have to stay alive. So if you are alert, even if it's starting to malfunction because it didn't get a chance to rest, the heart is a muscle. And what happens when you got them, them dumbbells, you got them bars, whatever it is that you have with your muscles, when you use them, they get bigger. So that's where that enlarged heart comes from. You can develop an enlarged heart from not resting because your heart is constantly pumping. It's constantly pumping instead of resting. You do want your heart to learn how to rest. Babies are a classic example. If you watch them, and if you can remember, so my parents, if you're a new parent on here, you're in that stage now. But my parents who, we got them old kids. Yes, yes, ma'am. Your heart, and then when your muscle gets big, it gets hard, right? Like you don't want your heart like your bicep. But if you think about looking at a baby, so if you remember those days, you had to put your finger, make sure the baby is breathing, you rubbing your like it's a baby. you want to get in that state. Babies are really good examples of what to look at or what to look for to see how we should be in terms of how our bodies are functioning. Even with something like digestion. So let's move to your digestive system. I mean, lack of rest is just, man, it could take your body on all kinds of places. But your digestive system, if you don't rest and don't allow your digestive system to rest, what does it do? It tightens up, it tightens up, it tightens up because it's thinking that it needs to work. When do you relax? When the last time you relaxed your colon? I'm just saying, I'm just saying, when was the last time you relaxed your colon? If you think about it, you need to lay down, right? You need to lay down. You need to stretch out. You could even massage. Give yourself an intestinal massage. You're going up on the left, down on the right, up on the left, down on the right. You can do that as well. But if you in our diet, oh, shall we talk about the American diet, the SAD, the standard American diet? Our food, and I don't mean diet as in regimen of calorie deficits and all that, but I mean diet in terms of the nutrition that we have in America in these institutions, whether it's from daycare, middle school, high school, hospitals. The institutional food is just pray, really pray over your food, pray over your food. But that food is already hard to digest because there's so many preservatives, so many chemicals. And if you have not read labels recently, read the labels, the back of labels. They are now, and I don't know if the FDA told them to do this or not, but this is what I've been noticing. Just take a package, no matter what it is, when you go in the store, anything, pick it up, whether from chips to crackers to, spaghetti, I don't know, just pick it up and look and see if you see, um, what does it say? Contains bioengineered food products or bioengineered something in there. Read that. I've noticed that over the last couple of years. I'm like, where is this stuff coming from? It's the same product, but it has that bioengineered ingredient. It either says contains bioengineered product or bioengineered ingredient. But look at those labels. So that means that some stuff is being seeped in and we're not noticing it because it's in such small quantities. So just be very, very mindful. If you are in a place or in a space or in an area where you have farmers markets, while it's still warm out, well, we're in the Midwest, so for us, we get 3 days of warm weather. Yes, 5,000 degrees. Listen, if I go past ingredient three and it's like 13 consonants, I'm good. I don't care how enticing that it looks, but if it's 13 consonants and one or two vowels, I'm gonna pass on that. No matter what, unless it's like if it's a totally different language, but I mean it's in English, and yeah, all those ingredients. That's how things are being seeped in. And if you decided that you wanted to dissect that label and look up all those ingredients, you would be amazed at the sort of things that our FDA allows through that some other countries who we as arrogant Americans talk about as third world countries, they don't have those issues and they don't allow those foods, those ingredients in their foods either. And let's talk about this. When people travel, so if you travel and people say, "Oh, that food messed my stomach up," no, your stomach messed that food up. Oh, forgive me, Lord. No, your stomach messed that food up. What happened was our bodies are so used to that standard American diet and all those chemicals and preservatives and things that are in our food that when we get to a place where the food is fresh, our bodies are like, what? What is this? Like, what? Wait a minute, I don't recognize this. Yeah, your body is not recognizing it, but then your digestive system is like, yum, yum. This is going to help me move things along, if you know what I mean. So you don't want to mess up your trip because you went somewhere and you got some fresh food. So this is what I'll say. Here's another useful strategy because we are going to talk about our retreats that are coming up. Here's another useful strategy. If you're going to travel, especially if you're going international, because usually in America, you can kind of, figure out the different foods, even though certain, cities or certain states may have a different style of food. But if you go into another country, first look up the type of food that is generally served there. So look up the staples that are generally served there, the ingredients, see if there's anything that you may be allergic to or something that you've never had. Prior to going, I would say at least a week before, but if you just want to try it like a month or two before, just to see what will happen, find those ingredients or find those dishes somewhere where you are. So it could be a restaurant. So if you're going to Thailand, right? So let me just, see what's going to happen if I try this food, right? If you're going up to the continent, try something from Kenya, try something from Ghana. Try that first to see. Now, if you have the authentic food, then you'll kind of know how your body, is going to respond to that. But then you're doing it on familiar ground. You're doing it while you're at home. You're not doing it because your eyes got so big when you get there, like, oh my God, this looks good. This looks good. All of it's going to look good. I mean, they're going to describe it as looking good because that's a part of the advertising. That's a part of the marketing. But see what's going to happen with your body. So you can start to introduce those foods to your body to see if how your body's going to respond so that you don't get somewhere and your body responds like, yeah, this is fresh. I can't hold on to this. And so all the other Lord, if this is TMI, I'm just saying, people need this. People need this. You need it. These are useful strategies I'm giving you. Even if you're staying in the States, I'm just saying, like when you travel, especially when you travel. And then there's something called, just travel digestive issues. So you have the travel diarrhea, you have the travel constipation. Either one of those things can happen, right? So your nerves, the adrenaline is going, you're moving around and you're trying to figure things out. That may make things a little tighter, right? So you're not gonna pass waste from your body as readily as you would if you were in a familiar setting for one, and another if you were, kind of sort of eating whatever you were used to eating. But then on the other end, your nerves can take it to another level and things get a little loose and then you're messed up on the other end. So just create some balance, try and create some balance and learn how to teach your digestive system how to rest. One way you can do this is by fasting. Now let me say this. Fasting is not a diet. Fasting is not intended for you to do it to lose weight. Fasting, actual fasting, whether you're doing it spiritually or you're going to do it um, nutritionally, fasting is to allow your digestive system to rest. If you go into it with the mindset that I'm going to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to lose 15 pounds, that is the wrong mindset to go into it. And the way you think, it does affect your body. It impacts the way your body processes things. So that's putting that disclaimer out there. But start to teach your body how to fast. You can even do, I mean, some people do intermittent fasting. You can do that. If you have a heavy activity, a heavy morning activity schedule, be careful with that intermittent fasting because you do need your energy. You need your energy. I know some people who don't eat until like 12, but you're breaking a fast because you've been laying down and you haven't been eating for an extended amount of time. So, is that really wise? I don't know. I ain't getting into it. That's your business. Mm. Don't fight me, fight you. I'm just saying. Don't come over here because I'm from the hood. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. But back to the lecture at hand. Make sure you start to learn how to tap into allowing your digestive system to rest. One way you can allow your digestive system to rest is with water. Like you said, you know what? I'm just going to allow my digestive system to rest and I'm just going to drink water. It could be for a 24-hour period. If you want to do a 24-hour, like an 18 or 12-hour period, have something light, a water, a heavy water fruit or something like that to start to help to cleanse your digestive system. That's allowing your digestive system to rest. So rest is not just sleeping. So we talked about your brain resting, right? We talked about your body resting because what's going to happen? You're going to get that bad built butch body. You keep messing around with that cortisol, being up all night, scrolling on the TikTok. TikTok can make your waistline increase. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Then we have your digestive system. You want your digestive system to be able to rest, and especially if you are going to travel, you want to have fun. You want to enjoy it. You want to be able to experience those new things when you're in a new space. So be mindful that you are checking in on your body and how your body is going to be able to process, and even sleeping. So if you are sleeping in a new environment, sometimes we don't get as restful as much sleep as no as good a quality of sleep. So it could be the number of hours that you're getting, but is it good quality sleep? That's what you want to be able to do to get good quality sleep, no matter where you're going. I mean, like for me, in different environments, it all depends. It may take me a day or two, to get comfortable with it because my head is on the swivel and you're in a new environment, and when you're in a new environment, and if I'm traveling alone, that takes it to another level. You go into Greece and say, yes, start to get into some Greek food. Yes, 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 yes. So look at some restaurant, and I'm pretty sure Detroit got some. Yep. So do that, and see how your body is going to respond to that. And also, this is for travel. So we're gonna switch over and start talking about how our Pilates retreats are gonna help you rest, when you go on the retreats. But this is to you, Chris. Also, take something that your body already knows how to digest and process. And what do I mean by that? What would you normally take for an upset stomach when you're here? You don't want to go to another country and they try and give you something, or you end up getting sick and you take something that makes it worse. So what normally worked for you here? I travel with peppermint tea. I travel with ginger tea. I just recently started adding, you can do the activated charcoal. Some people do the pink stuff. I mean, I don't, because once again, it's one of those 5,000 ingredients. But I would rather do something light. I would rather do something that I can recognize and that my body can recognize. Lime, you can do lime, you can do lemon. Ask for, the hot water with lemon or hot water with lime, something to help you with your digestive system, especially when you are traveling. You don't want you want to enjoy your trip. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you enjoy your trip, but make sure you take something with you that your body recognizes on your home turf, so that way when you get somewhere else, you say, "Oh yeah, girl, that ginger, baby." See, and everybody in light with the ginger, honey, because you be like that shot. You get that shot of ginger, yeah. Yeah, yeah, but ginger is really good. It's really good for the digestive system. So you want to balance that out. So you can do a ginger and a mint. If you take a tea, I like to take the teas because they are already in the smaller packages, and it's easier to travel with, and you don't get caught up with a lot of things that you have to put back. Right? I put it in my check luggage. I wouldn't put it in my carry-on. I just put it in my check luggage, so that way I'll know I'll have something with me when I get to wherever it is that I'm going. But yeah, but ginger is really good. Ginger is really good when it comes to digestion. And then, let's talk about traveling on the plane. We're moving on over to the retreat stuff. When you're on those long plane rides and you get to choose those foods, and you looking like, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this. Be respectful of your neighbors. Get you some spray. Take you some spray. I'm just saying, y'all may think this is a little bit too much, but it's the truth. I'm actually making a checklist. Oh, you can go to my YouTube channel and look at my travel adventures list. I'm compiling that list now of travel hacks for people who are traveling, especially international. You can use it even if you just going across the state line. But I want to create a list of things, travel hacks from anywhere from what to pack, what not to pack, and like what to eat, how to prepare your body. I am compiling that list for people to be able to refer to it. So go and check those out. But if you check out my travel adventures playlist, you'll see a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. But yeah, back to blowing up the spot. Don't do that. Don't do that on the plane. Don't do that on the plane. Get you some little spray. I got a link on my playlist. Get you some little spray. Take you some spray in that bathroom. Be respectful to your neighbors with your feet and everything. You know your feet gonna be chopping. If you take your shoes off, keep some spray. Keep some spray. Keep your little bitty bottle of spray with you. But that goes back to the whole digestive thing, especially when you're traveling, because if you're sitting there, just think, if you're sitting there and your digestive system, right, all of this only gets to sit in this small little space for 20 hours, for 10 hours, for 15 hours. What's happening? Everything is just sitting there. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. You want to be able to get up. You want to be able to stretch. Also on my travel adventures playlist, I got something called Packable Pilates. And it is helping you to not only manipulate your spine, to stretch your spine, to strengthen your spine, but it's also to help you with your circulation and with your digestive system. So all those moves on there is like maybe 4 or 5, real, compact, right? It's Packable Pilates. It's about a 6-minute video when you get up, when you go to the bathroom, or just be intentional. Because I just took a 20, I think it was a 20 hour, it was a long flight anyway. I came back from Asia. So, but I got up. My seat buddy, she had to pee. She kept apologizing. I was like, girl, don't apologize because every time you pee, I'm going to stretch. So we had a whole system going there. I was getting up every 2 to 3 hours to make sure that I was moving my body to make sure that I'm, keeping my circulation going. Take those compression socks with you. That's also on the list. Look at my travel light or packing light. I think that's the name of it. You want to take your compression socks, but your compression socks are helping the blood to not pull down, but you need something to help the blood to go up and circulate, right? Unless you got some electric. compression socks that compress. And you know those sleeves, the compression sleeves. You when you're in the hospital, they want to make sure that you don't. If your socks don't do all that, you need to get up. You need to get up. You need to move around so that you don't swell up. Right? You don't want that. And then you're eating all that salty food. You have to be mindful of that. When you're on a plane, that air is not the most conducive. I'll say that to getting you as much oxygen as you need. That air could be so dry on the plane. You got to think about it because you got all these people in this small space. So do you really want it that humid? I'm just saying. People are already generous with their germs. They're going to be even more generous if it's real humid on that plane. So if you think about that dry air, take you some kind of moisturizer for your lips, for your hands. Make sure you're drinking your water. You want to keep flushing and flushing, flushing and flushing your body. So you want to make sure that you do that when you're on the plane. So what's our time? Okay. So I'll talk about the Pilates retreats that we have coming up. Our retreats going into 2025 are about restoring our bodies. Restore for more is what we're doing. We want to make sure that we learn to get into a space, like I said in the beginning, even if it's only for 10 minutes, even if it's only for 15 minutes, we want to be able to do that as quickly as we know how to do a job with somebody else, right? We done learned that through the years. We know how to work. We know how to be workers. We don't have a problem, especially in America now. If you tapping in from somewhere else, hey, India, I saw some people from India tap in. In our hustle culture, we know how to work. Working ain't our problem. Resting is our problem. And to have that mentality of I'll rest when I die, it's not healthy. I ain't saying I ain't never been there because yeah, I thought that was a spot to be in too, but no. Get somebody else to do it. Look, child, I'm way past that. Get somebody else to do that because I want to be able to rest when I need rest. You don't want to tap out, and actually just fall from fatigue. You don't want to just drop dead, literally, because you are deprived, sleep deprived, or rest deprived. Again, do you need 8 hours of sleep per night? That's between you and Jesus. I don't know what you need. You may need, some people can do well on a solid 4. Because of the stages of sleep, some people go straight into REM sleep, right? They just skipped over all the stages. They ain't tossing and turning. They just out. And they go into that quality deep sleep where you don't even remember your dreams. Some people can do that with a few hours. Some people need to get into different positions. Some people need to stretch. Some people need to think or they need to, can I say unthink? I don't know. I might have made that word up, but unthink some things or unpack. There we go. Unpack the things that have been happening for the day and process a little bit about what's going to happen in the morning to get in that state to say, okay, I did this, I did that, I did. Some people go through a checklist, a mental checklist, and then think about, okay, so then tomorrow, okay, good. Now I know I can go to sleep because there are things that I didn't leave off that were very important. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you are able to get rest. So we're talking about rest. It may not be actual sleep. So there is a difference. Yes, you get rest when you sleep, but sometimes you can rest and you are not sleeping. So we're talking about restoring for more. That's what our Pilates retreats will be about for next year. So the goal is to get in 4. Y'all can pray for me on that. But to do 1 per quarter. Bali is already in the works. Bali is Q3. Yeah, it's in July. In fact, yeah, I think that's going into Q3. But yeah, Bali is already in the works. But we're going to talk about just our retreats in general, no matter where we're going. The goal is to be able to start our day on a productive note. That could be with some meditation. Let me say this about meditation. I ain't talking about nobody's religion. I'm not talking about nobody's spirituality. Meditation, the way I'm identifying it, just so that more people can connect with it, is just you allowing your brain to rest. That's what that meditation is. If your meditation, a 30-minute or 20-minute meditation, turns into a nap, that's your meditation. So I ain't asking nobody to do nothing with no spirits, with no, definitely not with no demons, with no God. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about actually emptying our brain from stress. That's what that meditation. So it's a resting of the brain. So you can start your day with your meditation, with setting your intentions, for the day. There will be movement. That movement will be Pilates. It is a Pilates retreat. So how you gonna go on a Pilates retreat if you don't do no Pilates? I'm just saying. So we will have Pilates, but it'll be Pilates in the sense of getting deeper into the work. So not just a class that we're going to flow, we'll get up, we'll put our mats down, we'll do the class, and then we'll go. No, there will be Pilates for what's happening with our spines, right? So what's going on with our back? Okay, there will be Pilates for our breathing, our respiratory system. What's going on? Like, how can we utilize Pilates to help us to breathe better? When it comes to our joints, when it comes to our muscles, what can Pilates do for that? Because Pilates is a full body. It's a mind, body, spirit coordination methodology, but it can tap into everything. Not it can, it does. It taps into everything with your body, and that we're gonna break that down. We're gonna unpack Pilates when we go on these retreats. So it may be two exercises. So just the session in the morning could just be two exercises that's focused on one thing or focus on two things, but you will get a better understanding, one, of what Pilates is and how Pilates can benefit your body. The other is you're going to leave once again with some useful strategies that you can tap back into. When you go to my playlist, the Travel Adventures playlist, and you see the Packable Pilates, that's a useful strategy. You can take that anywhere, even if you were in a long car ride and you pulled over at a rest stop, you can get out and you can do those exercises. I mean, it makes such a difference, especially on your back. And our spines, at least mine, I'm gonna say that. My spine is way older than it was 50 years ago. I'm just saying. So we got these older spines. We want to make sure that we are keeping them strengthened because when you hurt your back, oh my Jesus, hurting your back is so ghetto. It is. So we don't want to hurt our backs from um, lack of work, right? Lack of work meaning building our spines, meaning strengthen our spines. Like we don't want to do that. And then we want to be able to understand how our body gets into different positions. So we're talking about a flexion forward, we're talking about an extension back, we're talking about a rotation, we're talking about a lateral flexion, we're reaching, we're pulling, we're pushing. We want to be able to know how to do that without injuring ourselves. So we will do Pilates for safety. Like, how do I keep my body safe in certain situations? So again, it is a Pilates retreat. So if you've been looking at the videos, so I'm gonna say this. This is a side note, sidebar. So if you've been watching them videos, it's like, so I'm using Bali in particular because we are going to Bali, and you saw the people with the trays and the swimming pool, and then they got the waterfalls behind. It's a whole lot missing. Look at my adventures. Look at my adventures. It's a whole lot missing from those adventures. We want to make sure we want to make sure that you get an experience from that, but we want to keep you grounded in the reality of that. So if you're going over and you're thinking, at least Bali in particular, that you're just gonna be laying all around with the rose petals and all that, you might be able to do that, for some time. We're not gonna overload people. I am not into overloading people on a trip, on a retreat, on a vacation, because a part of it is you being able to choose the activities or the events that you want to do. So we will get up in the morning, we'll set those intentions, whatever meditative space that you need to be in, we'll do that. We'll do a little bit of movement, whatever event we got. So I'm using Bali in particular. So yeah, we'll go to the swings. You get your pictures at the swings. So yes, we're going to do that. Yes, we'll go to the market so you can see how that operates. So we'll do those things, no more than one thing in a day, because you don't want to have to come back from a trip that you went to get refreshed on, and you are totally, totally exhausted. You're already in a different time zone. So I'm in the Midwest. They are 13 hours ahead of us. So you're already going to cross over these different timelines. And that's just not, yeah. We just don't want to do that. So if what you're looking for is what you thought you saw and you think is going to happen on the Pilates retreat, remember the first word is Pilates. 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 That's what you will be doing on the retreat. You're going to be doing Pilates. So no matter wherever it is that we're going. So we also will get some, no matter where. So, I mean, not particular to Bali, but no matter where we're going, we're going to also get into something involving the culture. So something so that we can kind of get out of these spaces. Yes, coming back better than when you left. That is the goal. So we don't want to go with our attitudes because Americans, I'm just saying in general, we gonna all raise our hand, hallelujah, amen. We got this arrogance about us that we go places that people are supposed to be speaking to us the way that we speak, and then we get frustrated because they're not talking English. Well, you ain't. in America. Like if they don't speak English, then you can't get frustrated. So we will also have some language lessons, and it'll just be for those basic phrases. We'll start practicing those before we leave. This is for anybody, whether you go with us or not, if you go on one of our retreats or not. This is just in general. When you go someplace, learn those basic phrases of hello, goodbye, thank you, how are you, what else we got? So we got hello, hello, goodbye, thank you, how are you? I'm sorry, excuse me. So those things you want to at least have a working knowledge of it, even if your accent is off, right? If your accent is off, they will still appreciate the fact that you're trying and be more willing to help you and assist you in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Yes, you can download the different apps, but what if you're in a space where the app ain't working and you don't have no Wi-Fi? I'm just saying. You still need some workable phrases. Learn the currency. Learn the currency, because if you come over there and you don't know what you're doing, especially if you're going internationally, learn the currency. At least learn those basics. Learn the cultural norms. Now, I will use Bali as an example because I just came back from Southeast Asia. We went to Taipei City, Taiwan, and Bali. So we spent most of the time in Bali. So the Balinese people are so grateful. They have these offerings, and you see these offerings everywhere, and they're just grateful for so many things. And so there are temples everywhere. The temples are sacred, and so when you're going to those temples, you can't take your shoes. You can't wear your shoes in it. Now, me, I don't wear my shoes. And thank you, Chris. Thank you. I'm trying to help people, so I'm building my videos. So just stay on my channel, and I'm building them, as we go. But when you go to different spaces, right? So you can't wear your shoes, and this is in Bali. At home, I'll take my shoes off at the door. I'm not walking through my own house, with shoes on and all that. But if you got on some slide-ins and your feet are bare, guess what you're doing? You walking on that bare floor, and it's just me and the way that my brain operates. You know how many diseases that can travel on people's feet? That's just me. But you have to be mindful. And the people on them videos, at least the ones I saw, and I've seen hundreds of them, they ain't say nothing about you taking off your shoes going to no temple. They ain't even show no temples. I'm just saying. So maybe they never, maybe they never left their property, but I learned it. So be mindful that you may have to step into a space where you have to take your shoes off. So what I did on that second day, oh, I got you. I carry my footies with me, so I was able to do a little bit more. So footies are okay. You don't have to have bare feet, but if you happen to be in some sandals or some shoes where your feet are bare, you're not going in there. So some things I was like, yeah, I get somebody else to do it, because what would have happened to me, and this is just me personally, what would have happened to me is my brain would have been so busy thinking about the number of things that could be on my feet. The experience wouldn't have been good for me anyway. I wouldn't even remember what they were talking about. If I had to walk around my bare feet on the floor with other people with their bare feet, and I don't know what they, yeah, it would have been good for me. But when I put my footies on, it was good. It was good, and I was able to go into the different spaces and learn things about that culture. Which really helped me to understand a little bit more. So be mindful of that. There may be some things. There are also in the temples where you're not going either without a sarong, like something covering you. Whether it's a head covering, whether it's a body covering, you're not going to be able to go into those spaces. And if you don't know that, before you get there, then you're sitting there like, what? Like I can't go. I can't us arrogant Americans feel like we can just do whatever we want, right? When we go places. That's not true. So understand that. Understand the religion. Religion is really big, like just around the world. But understand the religion of where you're going. Now, am I saying you got to turn into whatever it is when you get there? No. But you need to be respectful of whatever so it's the religion of the land, just like the law of the land. Learn the laws, because you ain't trying to be getting locked up overseas. People have done it and it don't turn out too well. So learn the laws, learn the common laws. Like here, I'm in the Midwest, I'm in America. Once again, if you chime in from somewhere else, just let us know. But in some places, you ain't about to cross the street anywhere. You gotta walk. Get in the crosswalk. You got, but we're thinking, oh, okay, I'm just about to run across the street. Yeah, no, you might end up in jail. I'm just saying. So find out. So you want to know the law of the land. You want to know the religion of the land. You want to know the currency of the land. You want to know the customs of the land. You want to know the food of the land that you're going to, especially if you are traveling internationally. You want to just learn that even if you're just going somewhere locally, but especially if you're traveling internationally and you want to have the best time to get the best experience from wherever it is that you're going. some people, so like say for instance in Bali, they have these I guess I can call it like a courtway. Yeah, more like a courtway. You know what a courtway is? A courtway entrance where you can see it from the street. There's a door that's open, but when you look back, it goes so far back, but then it opens up into this big space. And sometimes these are people's homes, but they are actually welcoming you into their homes. Like it's okay. You can actually walk into their home. Now that was like really weird. Excuse me. I was there doing my retreat host training, and that's one of the reasons why I selected Bali, because I went there and I was able to see the stuff. But it felt a little weird. So another thing about the Balinese culture, and so you have Balinese culture and you have Indonesian culture, even though Bali is in Indonesia. But a family inviting you to come in to eat with them is like a big deal. It is a high compliment. And if you're not comfortable going in someone's home and eating with them, you got to figure out the best way to decline that because you know, it could be offensive. So you want to make sure that you understand those things. That's another thing about, the culture is understanding what happens, with the culture. Understand about tipping. This is something else that I learned, when I was there with the tipping. Big tips, because us in America, we want to be balling out, right? Sometimes big tips are, I don't want to use the word offensive, but they're weird to them because they're thinking this is my job. Like, okay, I'm okay with, a few dollars on the tip, but why would you tip me $100? Like, 50. But in America, that's okay. Like, right? Like I can tip big, but they don't have that same concept, right? They don't have that same concept of you're a big spender, you're a big tipper because they work hard. They're hardworking people and they're proud. They take pride in their work. So you tipping them, it can put you and them in a weird space. So just be mindful of that. Learn about that. The bathrooms, child. I learned something new. You always want to learn something new, and this is going over to the Asian countries. So it is on my channel in my travel adventures under, I think it's under the Swan Paradise. So if you go to my playlist, but I think it's under Swan Paradise, but I'll explain to you about the bathroom. So sometimes you'll see these signs. So you know how you have the lady and the man, sign on the bathrooms. They will have a sign with a person squatting with a line through it. That means there's no squatting in this bathroom. They have toilets that actually sit in the ground. And there are ridges on the side. Well, not the ground, sits in the floor because it's in a bathroom. It's a bathroom. But it sits on the floor and there are ridges and they straddle that seat and squat down to use the bathroom. So them stepping into a different space where that toilet is not there, they're going to climb up on the toilet, which is really dangerous. They'll climb up on the toilet to squat down and use it, as opposed to just straddling over. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all be sitting on public toilets, that ain't me. But instead of just squatting over, but they actually will stand, climb up on top of the toilet, stand and squat down, and that's really dangerous. But you need to know that as well, because if you go and you're like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom, I gotta use the bathroom, and you get in there like, you want me to what now? Oh, what now? I'm going to squat all the way down, but that's important to know. And I don't know if people have shared that. Like I said, I watched a whole bunch of videos and put in a lot of different subjects before I went over to Bali, and the people didn't say nothing about that. I mean, good thing that my teacher, shout out to Althea, and if you want to learn how to be a bum retreat host, go to Living Life Limitlessly university. That is Althea Lawton Thompson. I mean, she went from the A to the Z, from the rooter to the tutor, crossed every T, dotted every I. Yeah, let you start squatting. Exactly. Dropping low, dropping low. Yes, when you see those toilets. So if you go to my playlist, in fact, I'm gonna tag you, Chris. So once I find it on there, but yeah, there you actually have to squat all the way down. They got them knees. They got them knees. But then you also have to remember, especially in the Asian countries, they're a little bit smaller. That's another thing. At least speaking in particular of the Asian countries that I went to. The people, the size of the people. So a double bed for them or a queen, it doesn't have the same dimensions. Now, I could be wrong, but looking at it, iron is not. It's like our full size bed. And then their double bed, like we have hotels here in America where you are in a room and it's a double for two, is usually two queen size beds or two full size beds. But full size to them, because they are smaller people, it's like two twin size beds. So you get over there and be like, what the? I'm supposed to do what? And it ain't an extra long twin like in the college dorm. So yeah. So you want to be mindful of that. You want to see like what the sleeping, arrangements are, or how, they do things when it comes to their, their villas, their hotels. You want to find out all those sorts of things that can make your experience, the best that it can be, when you are in that space. All those things are very, very, very important to know, and especially if you're spending a lot of time on the plane, trying to get there and you're spending all your money. You want to make sure that you're getting what it is, that you need. So we'll do all those things when it comes to our retreats, wherever we're going. You're going to get that information prior to, so that you can make an informed decision. Now we're coming to the end of our time, and I will say this about Bali in particular, because this is very important. It's especially important to me because I do have respiratory challenges. If you got respiratory challenges, but I keep masks with me all the time. Take some kind of face cover with you, because baby, everybody's smoking. I don't know if I can use that word and say everybody, but I thought I saw everybody. I mean, it's like so. There are more people that smoke than don't. I'll just say that. I'm looking at kids like, do y'all smoke too? Like it's smoke, and the traffic is there's so much congestion for one in the traffic, and then you think about all that exhaust. There are a lot of scooters everywhere. There are some cars, so there's some cars, there's some trucks, there are a few buses, but that exhaust. So if you have respiratory issues, and the people on them videos, when you go watch them videos, they're not showing you all that. But if you have respiratory issues, you want to be mindful, especially of going to Bali. The other thing, elevators, I ain't see none. Honestly. No, no. It's a lot of stairs. It's a lot of stairs. It's a lot of stairs. So be mindful. So if you got hip issues, if you have knee issues, you have ankle issues, you have back issues, just issues on top of issues on getting up and down stairs, and they're those old, hard concrete stairs, because there's a lot of, beautiful traditional architecture. But be mindful when you're going into those spaces. You want to find out all those little small things that can help you. This is definitely the real baby. Them stairs at one property that we saw was like, I don't know how my people gonna make it. Yeah, 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 yeah. So be mindful of that. Learn how to travel light, keeping your passport on you. Making sure you got something small that you're able to access. Only your passport. So whether it's a belt bag or whether it's just a little, like a holster that you keep next to your body, because that your passport, that's you. That's you in another country. So you want to make sure that you have that, handy. So with our retreats, once again, you are gonna do Pilates, because why? Why class? It's a Pilates retreat. You'll do some Pilates. You'll be able to reset your mind. You'll be able to tap into a deeper connection, with your body. Your soul. We want that to be fresh and rested and refreshed. When you leave, you'll get different strategies, useful strategies to be able to implement into your daily life once you have gone from there. So it's not like you're going to come there and say, "Oh, I did this and it's over." No, the goal is for you to be able to actually integrate that into your life, so that when you on them jobs and you back in them spaces where you need them 5 minutes or them 10 minutes, you like, I got you. I can take care of my whole body in 5 minutes, in 6 minutes. That's what we want you, to be able to do. So we got our setting the mind, we got our moving the body, we got learning about the culture, and we have teaching you about travel, like how to travel safely, how to be able to manage being in those spaces for those long extended amount of times, in those, constricted positions. We want to make sure that you are okay. And we want you to enjoy yourself. So yeah, so you'll be able to, to taste all of the good food. You'll know how your body's gonna respond, because if you had it over here in America, even if it wasn't the true authentic, you at least had the opportunity to taste something, you'd be like, no, thank you. No, thank you. And then also with the language, you'll be able to learn at least, I'm going to say at least four. We're shooting for 10, but our brains, we may not remember all of them, but we can, like make notes, and you can put it on your phone and all that. So you'll have a working knowledge of being able to communicate with the people that are in those spaces. So if you have found this video helpful, please like it, comment, share. Thanks for all who have interacted, for all who have joined us for this conversation today. What else? Oh, be on the lookout for things that are coming up for us in the future. So stay connected with me. I am Coach Robin Renee on all social media outlets and platforms. And I want to thank you again for being here with me for Self-Fullness Matters. And on that note, I'm out. Peace.